The news you need, powered by AI and reviewed by humans. Welcome to Neural Newscast.
Neural Newscast Global. I'm Andrew Lindbeck. Today is November 4th, 2025. On this day in 1960, Jane Goodall documented chimpanzee termite fishing, according to the Jane Goodall Institute.
This is Chad Thompson. I created Neural Newscast to make it easier to keep up with the world without the noise. If you're finding it helpful, head to neuralnewscast.com to explore all our shows, recaps, and reports.
What's happening in government today? A look at the legacy of former Vice President Dick Cheney and how post-9/11 policies still shape U.S. security debates, as documented by AP and congressional reports. Cassandra Joyce reports on this story.
Former Vice President Dick Cheney is widely described as a chief architect of post-9/11 policy, backing expanded executive power, surveillance authorities, and the 2003 Iraq invasion, according to AP accounts and contemporaneous administration records. He argues those steps deter threats. Critics cite flawed intelligence in protracted wars that cost thousands of lives and trillions of dollars, as detailed by the Congressional Research Service. Supporters say enhanced interrogations and the Patriot Act prevented attacks. Civil liberties groups, including the ACLU, call them violations. Cheney's views continue to drive Republican national security arguments and inform bipartisan oversight reforms on Capitol Hill. This is Cassandra Joyce for Neural Newscast.
U.S. trade officials meet Swiss counterparts and direct new technical talks on tariffs and regulatory alignment, Reuters reports. Switzerland's State Secretariat for Economic Affairs seeks broader market access and more certainty on rules. Supporters say the contacts could lower costs for exporters. Critics warn trade bargaining can pressure labor and environmental standards and note unresolved disputes with Europe. The discussions underscore ongoing debates over tariffs, sovereignty, and consumer prices. This is Monica Kellen for Neural Newscast.
Now, let's share the latest from abroad. At least 40 people are reported dead after a powerful typhoon struck parts of the Philippines, according to the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, as reported by the Associated Press. Reuters, citing local medics, reports a drone strike hit a funeral in Sudan's North Kordofan, killing and injuring mourners. Samuel Green joins us with the latest.
The United States announces new actions targeting fentanyl supply chains after talks with China, including sanctions and tighter scrutiny of precursor chemicals and pill-making equipment, according to the U.S. Treasury Department and Reuters. Officials say the steps aim to curb illicit flows while keeping legitimate trade stable. The measures follow months of engagement and signal a tentative thaw in tensions. They could raise compliance costs for chemical buyers while focusing enforcement on illegal networks. U.S. officials call the shift a balanced approach to enforcement and trade. This is Samuel Green for Neural Newscast.
Flights pause at several Belgian airports after suspected drones enter restricted airspace. Aviation authorities say brief shutdowns hit Brussels and Charleroi on Tuesday, forcing diversions and delays for hundreds of passengers, according to the Belgian Civil Aviation Authority and AP. Police launch searches but do not recover a device. No injuries are reported. Officials say runway closures last from 15 to 45 minutes and warn even small drones can halt operations. They urge hobbyists to stay well clear of airports. This is Thomas Golding for Neural Newscast.
Kim Yong-nam, North Korea's longtime ceremonial head of state, dies at 97, state media KCNA announces. KCNA praises decades of service. Yong-nam led the Presidium of the Supreme People's Assembly from 1998 to 2019 and often represented Pyongyang abroad, including at the 2018 Winter Olympics. His role is largely symbolic, but he was a rare constant across leadership transitions under Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, and Kim Jong-un. His passing marks the end of an era in North Korea's protocol politics. This is Cassandra Joyce for Neural Newscast.
Updates from the business world. Canada unveils a budget with billions in new spending to support manufacturing and blunt U.S. tariff shocks, according to Finance Canada and Reuters. Ethan Wells joins us with the latest.
Ottawa's budget steers billions toward manufacturing, steel, aluminum, autos, and clean tech through targeted supports and faster write-offs, finance officials say. The goal, reported by Reuters, is to keep supply chains anchored in Canada amid U.S. tariffs and shifting EV rules. The plan also reserves funds for workers and communities facing trade pressure. The government argues the incentives spur factory upgrades and investment while safeguarding jobs. This is Ethan Wells for Neural Newscast.
The Wall Street Journal reports Kimberly-Clark is exploring a roughly $40 billion bid for Kenvue that could reshape consumer health goods. The company's decline comment. Investor Scott Bessent warns parts of the U.S. economy may already be in recession and urges rate cuts, Bloomberg reports, fueling debate with Federal Reserve officials. Daniel Grove reports on this story.
Investor Scott Bessent says manufacturing and freight show sustained declines while consumer credit stress rises, according to remarks reported by Bloomberg. He argues the Federal Reserve kept rates too high for too long, tightening financial conditions, and calls for swift cuts to protect jobs and small businesses. The debate intensifies as inflation cools and growth slows, based on recent government data and market pricing for further rate reductions this year. This is Daniel Grove for Neural Newscast.
What's happening in government today?
Support rises for a proposed California redistricting initiative that would expand the state's independent map drawing process, according to filings with the California Secretary of State and reporting by the Los Angeles Times. Backers say it boosts transparency, requires public hearings, and sets clear criteria for district lines. Opponents warn it could dilute local representation and empower unelected commissioners. Approval would reshape how California redraws districts after the next census. This is Sarah Wheaton for Neural Newscast.
From gadgets to breakthroughs, here's what's new. AMD reports solid revenue growth, but guides slower AI chip expansion than market leader Nvidia, according to its latest earnings in Reuters. Kara Swift joins us with the latest.
AMD posts double-digit revenue growth and forecasts another increase next quarter, per its earnings release and Reuters. Even so, its AI accelerator trajectory trails Nvidia's rapid gains. That gap matters. AI chips power data centers, cloud services, and generative tools. AMD's momentum shows demand broadening beyond PCs and consoles, but Nvidia still sets the pace for AI hardware spending. This is Kara Swift for Neural Newscast.
From the Science Desk, here's what's new. Archaeologists report Oldowan stone tools from about 2.75 million years ago in Kenya's Turkana Basin, reshaping early prehistory, according to a study in Nature. Nathaniel Cohen reports on this story.
Researchers working in Kenya's Turkana Basin identify Oldowan tools roughly 2.75 million years old, placing organized toolmaking deep in the Pliocene, according to a peer-reviewed paper in Nature. Simple flakes and cores appear alongside animal bones, indicating cutting and pounding to process meat and plants. The finds span drying landscapes, suggesting technology helped hominins adapt to harsher climates, and that multiple groups may have experimented with invention. This is Nathaniel Cohen for Neural Newscast.
Stories impacting our well-being. A listeria outbreak tied to prepared pasta dishes has killed 6 people and hospitalized 25 across multiple states, the CDC and FDA report. I'm joined by Laura Navarro.
A worsening listeria outbreak tied to prepared pasta dishes kills 6 people and hospitalizes 25 across 18 states, the CDC says. Recalls span June through October and include items sold at Trader Joe's, Kroger, and Walmart per FDA notices. If you bought these pastas, throw them out and clean your fridge. Listeria survives cold temperatures and spreads easily. Watch for fever, muscle aches, nausea, or confusion, especially if you're pregnant, older, or immunocompromised. And seek care if symptoms start within 2 weeks of eating recalled foods. This is Laura Navarro for Neural Newscast.
Updates from film, music, and more. The Orange County Sheriff's Office says a woman was found dead at Disney's Pop Century Resort, Local media, including the Orlando Sentinel, report detectives are investigating and no foul play is suspected at this time. Bringing you the next story in our lineup. In western Ukraine, DJing programs are aiding war veterans, recovery through music, teaching new skills, and community rebuilding, the Associated Press reports. That wraps our briefing for today. For more, visit neuralnewscast.com and follow us on your favorite podcast platform. And that's a wrap on today's global headlines. Connect with us at neuralnewscast.com for deeper dives and follow Neural Newscast wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Andrew Lindbeck. Until our next broadcast.
Stay informed beyond the headlines. Visit neuralnewscast.com for daily episodes, specialty shows, deep dive segments, and breaking special coverage. Neural Newscast combines real voice recordings with synthesized voices to enable prompt production without sacrificing quality. All content is generated using advanced AI algorithms developed by a human and undergoes fact-checking and human review prior to release. While we strive for factual, non-biased reporting and actively work to prevent AI hallucinations, AI-generated content can occasionally contain errors. Listeners are encouraged to verify critical information from trusted sources. For more details on our AI transparency policies, visit nnewscast.com.